Here you go.
Right, welcome to the RNT and PoINT webinar. Just to make introductions to who we are. I'm Graham Norbury. Patricia, if you'd like to just jump the slide. Thank you. I'm Graham Norbury, Business Development. Been in the storage industry for quite a few years, and with RNT working with their appliances and channel operations for about 4 years. And Thomas, introduce yourself, sir.
Yes, welcome from my side. My name is Thomas Thalmann. I'm the CEO of PoINT Software and Systems, and I welcome you to this webinar.
Thank you, Thomas. So today we want to talk a little bit about a really important piece, which is managing our data. Whether you're an enterprise or a small business, it doesn't matter. Your data is really important to you. Managing it, maintaining it, and utilizing it is really, really important. And we're working alongside PoINT with some of our storage solutions to deliver something a little bit special. So we want to talk a bit about who we are, a little bit about the challenges we're faced with, and then look at our respective products that we've combined together to deliver a really interesting and powerful solution. So as a company, RNT are based in Ettlingen in Germany. We've been making customized, specialized solutions, particularly storage and server solutions for the IT industry for 20 plus years. And a lot of what we do isn't just taking a standard server and delivering it to a customer. It's actually sitting with the customers and actually designing something that's really tuned to what they need, minimizing the costs, maximizing the value points that come with that. And from that, we've developed a huge customer base, and in the last couple of years worked towards some very specialized turnkey solutions. And one of those is something we're doing with Cloudian and PoINT you're going to hear about today. And so that's a little bit about us. Thomas.
Yeah, thank you, Graham. Also from my side, a few words, some words to our company. Like RNT Rausch, also we are a German-based company with software products made in Germany. We are a so-called ISV, an independent software vendor in the area of data and storage management software. And the company has been founded already in 1994, so we exist a long time on the market with a lot of experience in data management and storage technologies. We are selling our products to a worldwide network of resellers, and of course we depend on close relationships to major storage system vendors like RNT Rausch, and also of course to Cloudian. So Cloudian is also some important part in this complete solution. So on the next slide, I would give a short brief overview about the general use cases which our common solution addresses. The initial problem we are focusing is data growth, which is not really new to all of you. And if you look a little bit closer to this problem, you can see that 80% of this data growth is unstructured data. This is in principle files, audio, video, which all is stored on your file servers, NAS systems, which you have in your internal infrastructure. And when you make an analysis of this unstructured data, you can see that only a small part of all these huge amount of data is really active and in productive use, and the most part is getting less active or is never touched again. But in most companies, these data is all stored on expensive primary storage, which makes it very expensive, and it does not really make sense to store inactive data on an expensive flash storage, for example. Additionally, all companies have to fulfill compliant requirements. So they have to take care about data prevention, about retention management, and so on. And the two use cases, storage optimization by tiering of inactive data to some better storage like the Yowie appliance, and additionally archiving data on the Yowie appliance, both performed by PoINT storage managers, are the addressed use cases which make sense to save money and which help to fulfill all these compliant requirements for archiving. Okay, Graham, would you take over?
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. So the appliance that Thomas had just mentioned, the Yowie appliance, and the name of this comes from at RNT. We have a number of product ranges: Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and Yowie is the Australian version of those great animals. So Yowie is our brand name. And as I said earlier, we do things a little differently. We look at what the market needs and develop something that really suits to that. And working with Cloudian, one of the key things they do for efficient data storage and highly protected data storage is erasure coding. And this allows you across multiple nodes, multiple servers, to store the data in a very protected way. And really, the start point, the efficient point of using erasure coding is to have 5 nodes or 5 servers. So at RNT, what we developed was our own customized solution. You can see an example here, which actually has 5 servers or 5 nodes in a 3U box. So it's dense, it's small, and it's targeted at the smaller business. Doesn't matter who you are, your data is just as valuable. So it's targeted at the smaller business and designed to take up minimum amount of rack space, minimize the use of resources, particularly power. So it's a low power device, but bringing with it all of the enterprise capabilities of Cloudian's Hyperstore and also all the components for enterprise grade. At the end of the day, we want everything to last. So of this product, we have 2 variants to this, as you can see on the next slide. And this is the hard drive version and the all flash version. And the hard drive version is very much targeted towards the archive backup, exactly the kind of market we're talking about with PoINT. And the flash version of this is aimed at certain market sectors where there is a performance benefit. But again, with object storage, there are some balances here, and we need to talk a bit more about that. But the most important thing here is having a device that can take the data in and deliver it back when it's needed, but also protected at every level. So it's got multiple points of failure. And as part of the Cloudian licensing on this, it all comes with object lock, which means that the data can be locked against modification, immutable data, or worm, if you want to call it that, as in write once, read many times. And that can be locked for ever or for a time period. And that time period can be controlled even by, for example, backup software such as Commvault or Veeam can automatically control that. So if people get into the system, they are unable to be able to change that data. So obviously, ransomware is a good example. They get in your system, it's not what you want, but it gets you there. Now, with all of this, people then say, hey, you know what? I don't need something as fancy as this just for some backup data. I can just do it with something simple. Well, actually, it's the most valuable asset a company has. So a NAS box or a RAID box is not going to do the job. It is really important to look after your data. And what we've done with Yowie is to take enterprise-grade software from Cloudian, enterprise-grade hardware, combine it together so that it is super easy and simple to configure and run. There's no great expertise needed, and this is something that Cloudian and RNT have worked closely on to build this between the engineering teams to get this working, so that a few questions, but networking information and a username and things like that, and it configures itself up. Hyperstore is an amazingly powerful product, but also quite complex. It's a cluster. We don't see any of that. It's simple, it's up, it's running. There's nothing hidden. Everything is there for you. The object licensing, the Hyperstore licensing, everything is done. Even the service and support is all built into the pricing from the beginning. And with that, you get enterprise grade solution for the smaller customer. Not a case of, oh, I'll go and buy some big storage device that's called the SMB storage with half the features missing. With everything in there, and because it's S3, you've then got the ability, for example, to do site-to-site replication for further protections. And of course, because it's based on, accessible over HTTPS, S3 storage is accessible effectively as a web resource. So anything that can talk on the web can talk to S3 storage. Applications, OSs, doesn't matter. It opens up huge flexibilities inside businesses with how they manage their data, what they do with it, and removes some of the restrictions that have been there with some of the older styles, the NAS, the file and block type storages. They have their place to play, but they also have limitations. S3 is designed to be very scalable and be able to grow pretty much without limits. So as I'm sure Thomas will say, we all know data is growing at a prodigious rate, and S3 is there for that. Anyway, Thomas, I'll pass you over, sir.
Yes, on the next slide, I would describe a little bit in more detail how the solution works. So the different components we have integrated for our joint solution. So in this figure, you can see that we have a typical network with file services like NFS and CIFS, and primary storage, which typically is file servers and NAS system, NetApp, EMC, or whatever. The optimization and the archiving is performed by our software, by PoINT Storage Manager, which is policy-based. So based on specific policy, the administrator can specify, for example, files which have not been used for 2 months, or files of specific file types, or files which are in a specific project directory or whatever. Based on these rules, these files will be automatically moved to the Yowie appliance. Optionally, also other technologies like public cloud or tape could be integrated as an option, for example, for an additional replication on an alternative technology. But the primary secondary storage is the Yowie appliance, which is in fact an S3 object storage with Cloudian Hyperstore software. So this means we make use of all these S3 capabilities like object logging, versioning, multi-tenancy, and of course, erasure coding. All these functions which are provided by Yowie are deployed by PoINT Storage Manager. So, and the complete process is completely transparent. There's no change on the application level or for users. The users have the complete view as before. So they see the directory structure as before, even if files are archived or moved to the Yowie appliance, they are still in direct access through the file systems of the primary storage. So this is the typical use case for tiering of inactive data or for archiving of data to an Yowie appliance. The different methods we support depend on the primary storage, which are configured in the customer network. We support the so-called stubbing functionality, which is completely transparent. So the directory entry is still visible and accessible, but the file content is moved to the Yowie appliance. In addition to this, because this stubbing functionality is not supported by all primary storage systems, we also have standard methods like symbolic links or web links. In addition to these transparent tiering and archiving functions, it's of course also possible to completely move files from primary storage to Yowie appliance, or in case of for backup purposes or application purposes, it is also possible to make just copies of data for legal reasons or whatever. But the essential function is that this process is working completely in background. So based on the policies which are specified in PoINT Storage Manager, this process is working completely transparent in background, and files are automatically monitored and moved from primary storage systems to the Yowie appliance, and optionally, if required, also to other technologies. So what are now the conclusion or the main benefits of this? This is in summary, it's just the cost savings you have. So if you move the most part of inactive data away from your primary storage to the Yowie appliance, it's not necessary to buy expensive storage extensions to your primary storage. So you save a lot of money on this. And the so-called single pass access, which we provide by our software, gives you very high productivity. So there's no change in applications and for clients necessary. All your data is still visible and accessible as before. The policy framework, which we have integrated, provides you a very reduced management. And one very important aspect is that by moving inactive data to the Yowie appliance, you very much reduce your backup volume on your primary storage. So your backup window is very small, and you save a lot of money because the backup is much more efficient. Additionally, by archiving on premises on the Yowie appliance, you have full control of your data. So data are archived with warm functions, with object logging, and by applying retention management functions, you have still full control of all your data. And the last point mentioned here is, of course, the object logging and the warm functions provide you high level of protection against ransomware. So this is just a short overview from our common solution, and hopefully there are some questions.
Sounds very quiet out there today. So there's quite a few resources to go have a look at. And obviously to come back and talk to PoINT and RNT to discuss what we have in a lot more detail. So thank you very much for attending today. Thank you.
Thank you.